um, the experience of an elder man who has had his nest emptied out. Our daughter got married last week, and so now I can focus on things that I enjoy, and one of them is communicating with you. I'm thankful that certain of the topics that we discuss arouse interest. And some of you are very negative, some of you are very passionate. And passionate about the things that you believe. And some of you try to actually state things that are inappropriate to say to a rabbi or to any Jew. And I wish to address some of the things that you are writing me about. And I want to do it in a respectful manner, not to get into fights with you. Although what I'm about to say may disturb some of you. The first thing you have to know is that there were only a few great teachers for the world in the last 6,000 years. Probably a handful of people really influenced the world. 3 of that handful of people happened to be Jews. One of them was Karl Marx. Well, we hate his ideology, but he has influenced billions of people. Another of the teachers of the world was a man that people call Jesus, or Yeshu in Hebrew, or Jesus in Latin. His original name was Yeshua, Yeshu for short, and the question is where he stands in terms of the Jewish people. And it's not a question. He never was, never will be, is not the Messiah. And there is nothing that you can say that will influence a Jew who has any semblance of knowledge, I mean any semblance of knowledge, with this kind of stuff. His contribution to the world was that he got pagans to believe in one God, although they distorted it because they made him into a semi-god or God himself. But clearly his purpose was to teach monotheism to the Gentiles and to teach them certain elements of morality, elements of how to get along in a society, and truly his influence is extremely great, and many, many hundreds of millions of people who follow what he says have become very kind and compassionate and servants of God's world. That said, doesn't mean that he's the Messiah. You can be a great teacher, but you're not holy, and you're not the Messiah, you're not a prophet. You're just a great teacher. The same thing is true for Muhammad. Muhammad was not a prophet. At least we Jews don't believe, and nothing you can say will make us believe that he was a prophet. He never prophesied anything, except he predicted the destruction of a city that he was going to attack at night. Well, very nice. You make a surprise attack and you murder all the people, and you prophesy that they're going to die. Okay, very good. That's not a prophecy. And anybody who gets into prophecy knows it's not a prophecy. At the same time, he was a great teacher, taught the unity of God to billions of people. And those who follow his teachings the way he really intended are basically kind, compassionate people, honorable people, people of faith, who worship God in everything that they do. The problem, of course, with Muhammad's teachings are that they were written in such a way that they could be interpreted by people to be very, very harsh and cruel. The same interpretation that you can have to interpret something reasonably and civilly, the same interpretation can be interpreted, the same effort can be used to interpret it as harsh and cruel. Jihad could be an ideological conflict or an actual physical conflict, depending upon how you describe it. If you want to use things as allegories, say that it's an allegory, it will then diffuse angers, diffuse any kind of hard feelings, diffuse any kinds of suspicions, and make for a harmonious existence between peoples. Unfortunately, the vast majority of the people who have the pulpit in these places all articulate Muhammad as being violent and demanding violence against others. I'm not an Islam scholar. I'm not going to go ahead and claim that I am. I tried reading the Quran. I read about 29 to 30 of the chapters. I found some of them interesting, but I found many, many contradictions in what he quotes about the Bible. I pointed out some of those contradictions in videos that I have presented here on my site, and what I wanted was a dialogue. I didn't want any attacks. I'm not attacking Islam, and I'm not attacking Islamists. I'm attacking violent Islamists in terms of you're discrediting your teachers. However, I have legitimate questions. If you want to engage me in a conversation, I'm here and I'm open. The same thing is true with Christianity. I'm open to discussing things with you, but I'm not going to believe in Jesus as the Messiah. And I'll tell you why right now. You know, you have a book called the Book of Mark. I guess it's one of the